the bleachers in the rain. We've shed a million tears and drank as many old-style beers out at the game. Let's go, Cubby, Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Mucho Scali.
Son Ranto.
Michael.
Son Ranto.
Cotton.
Son Ranto and the lovable Lucy.
Michael Cotton.
Son Ranto.
Mucho Scali. Son
Okay. We get the idea. Okay, we understand. Welcome to the Son Ranto Show. My name is Danny Rocket. We've got a lot to get through.
Sarah is so unimpressed with that long call.
Sarah is busy. She's got a fantasy draft going on. The football season's about to start. She's picking her players. She's going whole hog right now. But this show, the Son Ranto Show, is brought to you by our 114 Patreon subscribers. Thank you very much for supporting us at patreon.com/sunranto. And of course, Blake Beard's tickets down the third base line. Michael, you sat in Blake Beard's tickets. Why, just the other day you were down there on the third base line in Blake Beard's seats.
I did. They were wonderful seats. They're right on the aisle too, which is great. Like you can just pop up. There's a bathroom directly behind us, back in the seat. You know, you don't miss anything. It's great.
And did you see a victory? I believe you saw a victory.
I did see a victory
again over the Brewers. We're going to talk about that in a little bit with Eric Wheelo, who's going to come on the show and explain why he was so wrong about the Brewers winning all the games and putting the little Cubs to bed. They did not do that. It's also Son Ranto Show is also brought to you by Rogue Wave Creative for all your branding, graphic, and web design needs, and the Cubs PS Plus podcast, the Northside Numbers Game, which I listen to this very day. Mike Waller's podcast, very good.
Was there a new one out today?
No, I'm just behind.
Okay,
Just
I was going to say because I listen to the PS Plus all the time, and I was like working outside, like working on crap all day, and I didn't have anything to listen to, and I was just like, oh, I mean, outside of the Cubs game, but that only lasted an hour and 59 minutes.
And of course, Sarah and my show, Cup of Cubby Blue, I'm sure you listen to that religiously.
I do, in fact.
And Sara Sanchez is here, and what are you doing? You're picking in your fantasy draft right now? Who do you got?
Yeah,
I don't know any football
I'm in the middle of a fantasy football draft at the moment. We'll see how that goes. I've never done a show while actually drafting unless it was a draft preview. Which I have done, but usually for baseball, and I'm usually like, well, way more prepared to talk about that. So this is just kind of me doing stuff.
Well, we appreciate you coming on and filling in for IFG, who's not here tonight. She's got a prior commitment.
It is a holiday.
Yeah,
I mean, it is Labor Day. People had things going on today, except for people like us who literally just hung out and watched Cubs baseball all day.
And hashtag Chance in the chat. Yeah, she's actually at a Labor Day barbecue as we speak for her. I think it's her boyfriend's parents or something.
Well, you know, before we get off of that, Seattle taking the lead out there in the West, now up by a game. Amazingly, they are first place in the West. They were 5 games back not too long ago.
Yeah, on fire. And hashtag Chance in the chat if you would like to win a Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom. But before we get started, I do want to just real quick before we forget, Michael, you pointed out to me that Alex, our super ranter Alex, was engaged this weekend. So I just wanted to shout out about that. Do you know any more details than that?
I do not, Alex. On the Discord, where all the ranters get together and we talk during the game and we talk daily about the Cubs and all the different things, you know, Alex jumped in there and told us all that he got engaged. So congratulations, Alex.
Hell yeah. And tonight we got lots going on. We're giving away, we forgot to do it last week, the Amazon prize of the month. If you shop through our links at sunranto.com/stuff, then we get to see all the items that were purchased. And one of those items is going to win a fabulous prize this evening. Also, Patreon prize of the month. It is the 4th of September, which means it's the first Sun Ranto show of the month. And we're giving the Patreon prize of the month away. And you can win a fabulous In the Clutch t-shirt, kind of like this one of Clark flying the dong. I mean, the W. So I want to real quick, can we just talk about, because we're going to bring on Billy DeVore in 5 seconds, talk all about this Red series. But I think we should, just before we move on, talk a little bit about today's game with Justin Steele, Man of Steel, career high in strikeouts today, just a 5-0 shutout of, and now the Giants haven't been playing well, but to shut them out, they are a wild card team. We need to step on some necks here and bury some teams. We didn't do that with the Reds by splitting with them this weekend. We just kind of let time come off the calendar. But Seiya Suzuki remains hot, hits a dong. Cubs added to their lead at the end, shut them out. Sara was at the game, so she was out there getting sunburned. Vibes. Sara, how was it out there today?
Oh, I was not getting sunburned. I was getting suntanned, and the vibes were good, man. The Cubs were winning. The vibes were good. Justin Steele was absolutely dealing. I felt really great for most of this game, and Justin Steele was nails. It's Steele Day is turning into must-see TV.
Yeah, and now I asked the question in the Ranters page, but okay, right now Cubs are a playoff team. Who starts game 1?
Justin Steele. You can't. Nobody else starts that game. What are you talking about? The dude just shut out innings and struck out 12. Who else is going to start that game?
You need to start the series with a win, and that is Justin Steele's job. That's what he brings to this team. He's so good right now. I mean, and if you're going to need him later in the series for any reason, you want him going right away so that he's available if for whatever reason it does, come back around to his spot.
Yeah, Will points out that Steele is the deal in his YouTube. You can also like us on YouTube and like us on Facebook and comment in the Facebook chat, and we'll bring your comments on the show. If anybody has any different answer than Justin Steele as a game 1 starter in the playoffs, I'd like to hear it. Assad, anybody for Assad in his gusty performance?
If it's not Steele, we need to know right now so that we can call the proper authorities and have a health check.
Yes, they're coming to take me away. Haha. Yeah, Patrick also points out, it says Steele, Hendricks, Wicks at this point. I think I would go more of an Assad than a Wicks. I like what I've seen.
I like the fact that we have 4 players that are options here, though. I don't know. So the Hendricks, I don't know. I like Hendricks and Wicks, but maybe you go for 4. You go to the Assad, or you do a Wicks Assad piggyback, and you just leave the bullpen out of the game.
You might have to. At this point, you might have to. So, yeah, great win. I think it's wonderful to start a homestand like this.
Logan Webb, by the way, for the Giants, did not pitch badly. That was a tough game. He left the 1 pitch up for Seiya and got destroyed for it, but he was out there. He pitched 6.2 innings. They only used 2 pitchers in this game, but yeah, he gave up 3 earned runs, but still, what I'm saying is the Cubs did not get by on a cheap win. They didn't beat a bad pitcher. Logan Webb was pretty good.
No, the game was only 2 hours long. Sara, did you even feel like you got your money's worth? You were
I got to watch Justin Steele strike out 12. I definitely got my money's worth. But beyond that, you know, it was a hitter's day at Wrigley. It was 90 degrees. The wind was blowing out most of the time. Sometimes not hard, but sometimes pretty hard. Both of those starting pitchers had such impressive performances.
Yeah.
But yeah, the game went an hour and 59 minutes.
With the exception of yesterday, there have been quite a few pitchers duels lately, and that includes the Milwaukee series that we're going to talk to Eric Wheelo about. But I think we should bring on to talk about a couple of really close games that the Cubs did not end up on the right side of. Let's bring on our friend straight from the stage at Binsky's Chicago Bar of Cincinnati, Ohio. It's Billy DeVore. Welcome to the Son Ranto Show. How you doing?
Hello. Great. Have you guys said jet fuel can't melt steel beams yet?
You're first.
Just jumped right in with the conspiracy theories.
Yeah. There we go.
I was actually at a Labor Day party yesterday, and I was talking about how the JFK assassination was an inside job, right? Which, I mean, that's common knowledge, right? Like, everybody knows that there's no way Lee Harvey Oswald was the lone gunman. Like, I mean, at least ever since we all saw Kevin Costner prancing around that courtroom in that movie, like, we're all like, yeah, there's too many.
I never watched that movie.
Too many holes in it. But anyway, I was telling the story, like, almost like we all assumed there was something else going on. And some guy goes, he's like, no, I actually believe in vaccines, and I actually don't believe that. I was like, no, it's like, why are we extrapolating it to that? Like,
it's a slightly different version of a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, Lee Harvey Oswald was placed there by Moderna. That's what happened.
What nobody knows is that JFK was carrying a deadly disease.
Yeah, and it was chlamydia.
So the strongest theory is, like, I guess his Secret Service crew went out and partied hard the night before, and they like didn't sleep. They were at a strip club, going out, having a great time in Dallas. And then they were in the car, whatever, and Lee Harvey Oswald shot and missed, and it scared one of the Secret Service guys, and he fumbled his gun and shot JFK. That's supposedly what happened.
So that's the magic bullet.
Yes, the magic bullet was because of some lady named Mercedes.
Well,
thank you, Billy, for, I don't know that anyone has ever come on and derailed the show quite so completely and quickly as what you just did. That was impressive.
Yeah,
thank you. I've had plenty of practice on here doing it, so
I was ready to derail it too. I was bored. And so now, I wasn't bored this weekend, though, because what a time we had. We had a live podcast on Saturday before the game. I went to both games of the doubleheader, and here's the concoction that we came up with over it. Now, let me put a picture up right now. I had to eat this, people. Billy made me eat this, but not only made me eat this, and let me describe it to the podcast listeners. There's a slice of La Rosa's pizza, and on top of it is a chili cheese dog, otherwise known as a cheese coney. And I was supposed to bite into this at the same time as it was being used as a Malort luge. So the owner of the place, a guy named Keel, came over, and as I put the Sky Rosa, that's what this is called, the Billy DeVore invented Sky Rosa. No, you did not invent it, right? He's just an enthusiast. Billy made me eat this, though, as a shot of Malort was poured into my mouth while I bit the Sky Rosa. And it was terrible. Like, it was.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, that was predictably awful. Stunner.
Yeah, you got two powerhouses of Malort and Sky Rosa. How could we go wrong?
Well, what really grossed me out was when the bun became soaked in Malort, and I kept trying to eat the hot dog, and I was like,
It was so good. I don't care. I thought it was great. The sweet gasoline taste of Malort mixing with the sweetness of the chili and the saltiness of the pepperoni and the hot dog.
There was a lot going on, that's for sure. And one thing that I loved about Binsky's, though, and I got to put a picture up here of the shots that we took.
Hold on. I love Robert Sanchez's comment here. Why? So you could vomit once instead of twice? Which I love that idea. Just mixing garbage food so that you only have to vomit one time.
Well,
Yeah, it's a package deal, dude.
Even better, we had more to vomit because we took shots of Malort out of ashtrays, as is the tradition at this particular establishment, Binsky's, in the what's the name of the Camp Washington neighborhood of Cincinnati. So that's really inventive. Like, I've never seen that in Chicago, but it seems like something we'd do.
Yeah, it would. And Keel's like, just everything that he does, it takes it to the next level. Like, why I love that bar is because of him, all of that stuff. And then they have a meat raffle every Friday.
A meat raffle, you say?
Yeah. Doesn't that sound like the perfect place where I would hang out?
Really sounds like the right thing.
Yeah. I bought 10 raffle tickets for this T-bone.
He said it was a huge success too. The meat raffle. Actually, I think I've got a picture of the meat raffle sign. Let me see if I can bring that up real quick. It's uploading as we speak. You're going to have to wait for it.
So
live.
The background of the live pod was the meat raffle poster. Pretty awesome.
Nice. Yeah.
So $5 drinks too. And no, we had a great time. Your podcast partner, Chris, was there, and we all caught the game later that night. And I thought we had a great conversation. And there's Josh in the background. There's us in the upper deck watching the Cubs get walked off on Saturday night. Happened twice with you, Billy, like, because we were together on Friday night too. Same game, almost exactly. But we had a good time. And you know what I enjoyed about having the conversation is that it's not only do I get to know more about the Reds, and that, you know, because you watch them every single day, every single game. And but it's what's interesting is, like, you make me kind of a Reds fan in a way, because I'm seeing it through your eyes, because this Reds team is so young and exciting. And they let the kids play. They were supposed to lose 102 games. They're not going to do that. They're sniffing a wild card spot as we speak. They just split with the Cubs, walked off on us twice with guys I never even heard of before 5 minutes ago. And it's just like, you must be so like walking on clouds right now with this team that wasn't expected to be good.
That's exactly where I'm at. I mean, they're so young, they're so good, there's so much upside, and it happens so quickly because of what happened last year. Coming on and talking to you about the pain of getting rid of everybody and going through a really quick rebuild, and I was just the optimist in all of this, just like, hey, just wait it out, see what happens. You can be upset that they traded away Jesse Winker. You can be upset that they traded away Eugenio Suarez, two guys that everybody loved. Be upset, I get it. But also kind of look a little bit, look 3 steps ahead. And those 3 steps ahead ended up being 1. And it's just so much fun to see these guys just come together and play, and to go through what they've gone through too. Like today, Brandon Williamson was supposed to start on Sunday for you against you guys.
Got COVID.
Yeah, there was a COVID outbreak like it's 2020 in the clubhouse. It's insane. We, 2 of the guys went out with COVID. The other guy went out, Ashcraft, with a stress fracture in his big toe. So it's like there's 3 of our 5 starting pitchers. And we hobbled together a bullpen game yesterday that eventually didn't work out. But today against the Mariners, they pulled it out. And they found this guy. His name is Michael Marito or Marriott. And I tweeted out the photo. Since he played in his last MLB game, he played in independent league. He played over in Asia, and he played in the minors. He played for 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 different teams before the Reds found him to give us 3 quality innings.
And then DFA'd him.
Look at that list. That's nuts.
I saw that he played in Tijuana, and it was like he had to do the donkey show as part of his contract. It was just really sad for him. He's been through a lot. He's been through a lot.
And so he didn't throw spitballs. He actually took limes and juiced them on the ball to get a little bit more traction. But in the post game today, he said, he's like, look, I had a date. And if I wasn't going to hit that and be back in the pros, I was going to retire and go to Hawaii. That date was 2 days from today. Got the call up, came up, and it's just like, man, credit to the Reds for scouting department for just finding this guy too. I mean, it's just plug in any situation to get a dub. I mean, it's wild.
That's one of the big differences that the Reds have with the Cubs is that, like you're talking about this really quick rebuild. It's because they've gone out and they found the guys that they need. They've developed the guys that they want. And then instead of being so scared to use the players they have, the Reds just keep bringing them out like all the time. The last game, that game 4 was, it was a rookie pitcher out there that day. And, it was like the 7th rookie pitcher that you guys have used this year. The only other team with that many rookies, the A's. And that's like a completely different situation.
And, it's small world. Nick Kroll, GM for the Reds and president of baseball operations, his first job in baseball was a bat boy for the A's.
Oh, wow.
How
cool is that?
Bill Sugas points out his name was Spires.
Oh, yeah, from Double-A. Yeah, he did a solid job.
But that's
he popped up 4 innings. Yeah.
You'll bring up somebody from Double-A, and a lot of it's because you have to. Like, there is no one else. We are like dicking around with, all these other guys all year long. And mostly it hasn't been pitchers. Well, maybe it has, if you consider like Smiley, maybe on that list, but nobody that we've brought up that was young has performed anywhere close to where your guys are performing. And that's what's, I think, been except for maybe Wicks, I think you could say, but and Assad, I guess, but he was here last year. I'm more talking about like a rookie, like a full-fledged. But
our thing is we didn't have a choice. You guys went out and signed Smiley. Like, we brought in Luke Weaver. We let him start out of necessity because people were hurt. And as soon as they weren't, and we thought that we were getting like Nick Lodolo back, we DFA'd him and he went packing. Like, we didn't make those moves. What we talked about on Saturday, they weren't supposed to do this, and they're just going to stick with their plan through the whole year, and winning is a byproduct of it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and it seemed, but I feel like it is a example of that the youth can do more because they believe in themselves. Now you hit some skids in the year. I even saw some sloppy base running. They got picked off a couple times on Saturday night. They really weren't hitting. You were lucky that the Cubs were so anemic with their bats during some of those games. They didn't score any runs till that very last game. But when I see that these young guys kind of believing in themselves and overachieving, sometimes when you're old and you're supposed to do it, you get in your own head and you can't do it. Like these Reds, not all of them are going to be good. Not all of them are going to be good as they're doing this year. Some of them are going to hit that sophomore jinx. They might be out of the league by 2 years, or
right.
Some of them.
Like Ellie De La Cruz this week started trying to hit singles and isn't striking out by swinging at a slider in the dirt every time. He was not good day to day until this week, where he was starting to put games together where he went 1 for 3 or 2 for 4. Before he would go 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts and a ground out, or he'd go 5 for 5 and hit for the cycle. So like they are hitting those slumps for sure. Now to say
you're
that
letting them learn though, you're letting them
of course
take their lumps and come out. Like we're so reticent to let these guys do it. In fact, we brought up Canario. We brought up a prospect, and we haven't played him a single at bat. He's been up since the beginning for 4 or 5 days already. He's been up, and he is not.
He came up on the 35th, 31st. I did not say 35th. I swear to God.
Oh man,
of August.
I'll have what Cotton's having. Jesus.
Yes. Well, can I look? But talk about cooling off a hot hitter. Let me put up Canario's numbers from August 1st through August 30th. So we get this guy up here and we're like, oh, morale's been slumping a little bit. We've had, some issues scoring runs. Let's next hot hand up. Let's see what this guy who in the month of August in AAA slashed 305, 356, 632 for a 987 OPS, had 7 dogs and 95 at bats. He's striking out a lot, but here he comes. We're going to see what he's going to do. Nope, we are not going to see what he's going to do because we're not going to play him. And that is exactly the opposite of what you guys are doing. In fact,
you know who did get a chance? Master Boney. We saw him this week getting a pinch hit, and I'm just like, wait a second, where is Canario? We're giving Master Boney shots at
a freaking butt. And then David Ross said that I would say he's probably on the back end of the depth chart. So there's Ross GPT's answer there. And
why bring him up then?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Megan Montemuro says the Cubs believe it's valuable experience for Canario to be in this environment clubhouse, even if he's not playing. So what?
There's at least we know now why PCA wasn't the player they called up, because they want PCA to play baseball.
And not, but what do they want Canario to do?
Why would you not want any of your young guys playing baseball?
It's very unclear.
Bring up,
I'm not saying it's. I'm not saying it's.
If you're just going to sit them on the bench, there are old guys out there to bring up.
Yeah. Oh, that is such a backwards, dumbass philosophy.
Well, it's exactly the opposite of what you guys are doing, and that's what's driving me nuts. It's like we're looking at it, and we're like, even when we think they're doing something, they're not doing it.
What do you have to lose by playing this guy? If you lose because of an at bat that he has, then you shouldn't even fucking bring him up. Then you have other issues. It's so stupid.
Well, but Billy, let's be fair here. They can't lose. He can't make them lose if he never bats.
Right.
That's a terrible argument. I was just
sure. It's just
I couldn't even properly say it because it didn't make any sense.
I just agreed with you on the 35th. Like, I get it. So, it's just like in the workplace. Like, the best way to learn is by doing it. And that's just everything all around. What is he going to get by sitting in a nice recliner?
Not even. He's sitting in a hot dugout in 100-degree heat in Cincinnati because it was so hot. Like, you need to move that entire town to the north.
Yeah.
Where it's a little bit cooler, just like, especially as global warming is like getting a little hot and heavy, literally. And I think you need to move it like somewhere north of the Great Lakes, like the nice place like Canada.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Are you advocating for moving the entire city of Cincinnati
to Canada? I am, because it is way too hot. I just want
to make sure we're all on the same page here.
No, I sweated out my body weight like 5 times sitting in the stands. I nearly passed out in game 1. I hadn't slept much, but I was up there, I just couldn't even keep my eyes open. I thought I was going to die. I couldn't drink enough water to hydrate myself. I just stayed thirsty.
Great American Ballpark is a hot box. There is no shade in that ballpark anywhere. When you see it on the screen, when you're watching on TV, you can feel the heat come off of your television set. It's rough.
It's amazing. I've been to 36 baseball games this year, and I have sat in that ballpark a lot, and I have just gotten fatter. Not sweating out, nothing. And you might be like, oh, is it the Sky Roses? No, it's too hot to enjoy one.
The only thing that keeps me away from the Sky Rosa is sitting at Great American Ballpark.
Yeah, it was brutal out there, and even more brutal was watching us get walked off on 2 nights in a row, and especially after Javier Assad is a stud, and he goes 8 innings, 98 pitches. Everybody says that it was the right move to take him out there, which maybe it is. You don't want to wreck him. Maybe he was done. Maybe he went in there and he said, I'm gassed. I can't do anymore. But to bring out Mark Leiter Jr., who Ross admittedly after the game said he was trash, he probably couldn't do it. And this is a one-run baseball game. You need every out. Meanwhile, you've got, speaking of guys we don't use like Canario, Shane Green, who came up That's his name, right? Shane Green.
Yes.
I wouldn't know because I've never seen him play personally.
Right.
So I'd have never
played yesterday.
Well,
Yeah, he
exactly.
played yesterday for one inning
in garbage time. After the game,
after they had an 8-run lead.
yeah. Then they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll use Shane Green." You had a couple of guys, Palencia. Everybody pitched the day before because of the doubleheader. Both bullpens were trash, and we saw that with the next day with the Reds. As your closer couldn't get anybody out and threw the ball away. And, Reds, the wheels came off, but that was another close game, which because Tyone sucks. Like to win a game where Tyone stunk is like playing with house money, in many ways. And then, but those two walk-off. All right, let's go back.
So
Mark Leiter Jr., Ross, this is Ross's fault, right? Like he's just mismanaging the team at this point. Thoughts?
All year long. He's mismanaging the team all year long. It's not at this point. And what's horrible is out there on the Discord, we were discussing, there's been a lot of discussion about the front office and the management. And I hadn't really thought about it until Mike Waller brought up that there's a chance Ross comes up in manager of the year talks because this Cubs team was so bad early on. And then it's possible they win the division. They're 2.5 games back now. They could win this division. And so all the people out there who don't pay attention to what's going on day to day could be like, oh, David Ross did awesome this year.
Yeah.
So
they're like, they were only predicted to win 77 wins and they got 85. Like, manager of the year, David Ross. Meanwhile, anybody that actually watches these games are like, are you kidding me? It was the worst manager we've had in a long time. Yeah. And it was pointed out, where was that in the chat about Tom says, I think the bullpen is gassed, which makes me nervous moving forward. Yeah. I mean, I think all the bullpen
has to be gassed. Only 5 guys pitch in that bullpen.
Yeah.
4 guys.
And the bench is the same way. They won't play Canario. They won't put Green out there. I guess Palencia wasn't good. He didn't pitch that much the day before. They could have put him out there. No, you got to put out a gassed Leiter. And then without even a quick hook, so, and then the day before was Alzolay giving it up, which he's been a little bit shaky. And of course, Sarah, that's right after you and I on Cup of Cubby Blue sang the praises for a good 20 minutes of Adbert Alzolay and how we finally home grew a closer. And that it's the most so incredible to see him fist pumping with his walkout music and everything. And you and I were so excited. And then he blew like 2 games in a row.
Well, but that one game, they bring him in a bases loaded situation in the 8th inning. And yeah, he hit the guy. Like, it was a terrible pitch, but he hit the guy. And let's put that in quotes because the guy kind of got himself out there in.
I'm just saying Sarah and I jinxed him.
I don't think he did. I think that Adbert was on a pretty impressive run. He had, saved, 18, 19, some ridiculous number of games in a row. David Ross put him in a game that was an impossible situation, as Michael noted, where he had the bases loaded and basically had to be perfect in order to get out of that. And he wasn't perfect. He hit a guy and the run came in. The second game, though.
But that was literally the only thing he did badly in that game, though, right?
That felt a bit more like, oh, something is wrong here. Because the slider that he threw to Nick Martini, of all people, and I get it, he's having a good month, but like, it's Nick Martini, people. Everybody needs to slow their roll.
Great Nick Martini.
Cubs legend, Nick Martini.
That slider had no life whatsoever. I mean, you want to talk about a hanging slider that just like wound up in the left field bleachers. Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. Thanks for cursing him. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Boo.
I will say that after the game, after we got walked off on, there was some pretty incredible fireworks at the stadium. They do such a good job in Cincinnati. So I left feeling good, even though I felt kind of bad. Billy, I have one more question for you about it. Go ahead. What were you going to?
Well, you got to tell them about Saturday, the all-you-can-eat section.
Oh, yeah. I did get the all-you-can-eat. It's not really a good deal. They limit your hot dogs, which I know that Billy was really like, what's the point now, right?
You're going to limit me to 5 hot dogs? Come on.
It's 25.
That's not all you can eat.
Yeah,
Thank you.
It's all you should eat. That's different. You know,
$25 gets you all the popcorn, peanuts, soda, potato chips, and 5 hot dogs that you can eat, which I just kept getting up and feeding all 6 people that I was at the ball game with, 7 of us actually. Everybody kept getting, and I kept going back. And it's also not all you can eat because they closed at the end of the 7th. So, I'm go
All
down
you
to
can eat with stipulations.
yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
got to read the fine print, but $25, that's not so bad. Let's say
it's still a hell of a deal. Even I mean, $25 doesn't even pay for those 5 hot dogs. And if you can get the popcorn and the peanuts, all that different stuff too. Were there any drinks with that?
yeah, you get but they give you such a small little soda cup that you just have to go back like 50 times, and you're like, you got,
it's that little Dixie cup that sits next to the water cooler.
pretty
It's like
much
a shot glass.
Yeah.
It's the cone one too. You can't even set it down. Like,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
the-
they're just trying to wear out your goodwill to be like, I'm just not getting up. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing the grind.
we had this guy. We went to. I won tickets to a Yankees game one time from winning a karaoke contest, and it was the next night. And we go down there, and the guy we brought, the old paper beer cups.
Mhm.
He's like, hey, if you bring back these cups, I'll fill them up for you for $3 each. Okay. So we just kept going back with these paper cups, but by the end, the bottom was falling out. Like we had filled this thing up about 8 times. And we're holding the bottom, like, oh, come on, one more round.
He's
So-
got a paper beer cup in a Ziploc baggie.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the last question I have for you, because I want to get you on the bitch clock, and I want to also get you. I want to get Eric Wheeler on the show, but I need to ask why your team would ever pitch to Cody Bellinger at Great American Ballpark, because
Dude,
he pretty much like made you like look like children all weekend long.
no, don't pitch to him and don't pitch to Hap. Just do the 4 fingers, move them along.
Yeah,
And pitch to
hit his-
Candelario.
Hap hit his 17th home run at Great American Ballpark. It was the 17th of this season, but it was also his 17th career home run at GAB. Like, it's amazing.
I'm well aware. God,
Babe hat.
I think
Yeah,
it's-
well, my current theory is that Ian Happ hates his childhood, and anywhere he lived, so because he does the same thing to Pittsburgh, like not quite as bad, but he just beats up Pittsburgh and Cincinnati because something bad happened to him when he was a child.
yeah. Well, luckily, we'll only have to see Bellinger for 3 games next year when he signs with the Yankees. So
Oh,
Listen,
Yeah. So I'm gonna put up.
you're gonna have to leave.
I'm gonna put up the bitch. I'm gonna put up the bitch clock here. Now I'm calling this the visitors bitch clock, and we've got a bunch of different categories. First one is Cubs fans. Bellinger is a category. Wrigley South is what you said, because we don't call it that, but I guess we should. If Cincinnati
There-
could be Wrigley South.
there's some schmucks who do that live in the state of Ohio and call it Wrigley South, where it's like, what are you doing here?
Well,
Yeah.
Wrigley South / Wrigley North, because we're gonna make Eric Wheeler
I
do
will
this.
say Emily was quite surprised the other day with the roar of the crowd when something good happened with the Cubs.
Yeah, we show up. And we also have the W flag, like bringing the W flag and unfurling it at opposing ballparks. Cub fans from Ohio, those that either from Ohio and choose to root for the Cubs, or transplants that refuse to root for the home team and stay with the Cubs. Oh, and that also is for Wisconsin for when Wheeler comes on the show. I'm going to throw a wild card in here. Julio Urias is in the bitch clock tonight. Chicago's arrogance is in the bitch clock. And I just added Ian Happ, because why the hell not? Ian Happ could be bitched about. Are you ready to take a spin of the bitch clock?
Hit
Billy?
me.
Okay, here we go. I'm spinning it. Dump bump 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 bump. And the winner is the W flag. It's coming up. You'll see it in a second.
I was gonna say,
I know.
Yeah.
I see it first. It's coming. But you don't see it at all, do you?
No, it just says click to spin.
It's just slowly spinning.
Oh, weird.
Out of control, like my life.
That's weird. Do you know what? Well, the winner is. Oh, I'm sharing the wrong one. All right, look.
There it is.
Do you see? Do you see now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that is your topic, the W flag. Would you like to? I give him the 30 or the 60? Can you do 60 on this, or you want to try the 30?
Give me 30.
Okay, we'll give you the 30. You're in the bitch clock.
Clock, you have 30 seconds to bitch.
Oh, the W flag. You fly the W when you win? What happened to being the lovable losers? But instead you just come in here and take over the park and bring out your goddamn polyester flag, wave it around like, look, hey, we did it. We won. For once. I guess that was the whole thing. It used to be cute. Now it's annoying because I'm just trying to sit here, enjoy the game, and you're waving it in my face. Well, thank God next year I'm making a giant L flag to wave in those dumb fucks' faces too.
Stop your bitching.
Very nice.
You know, Billy, I own an L flag.
What?
There is an L flag.
Yeah.
The Cubs put up an L flag when they lose.
Yeah.
And they also have a W flag, but I own one of each.
Well, I need to get an L flag.
So Billy, can you stick around a little bit?
Yeah, I'm hanging out.
Okay. I know you told me you were massively hungover and you look very red.
Hey, that's just because of the meats.
We've got the meats. We're going to take a quick commercial break and we're going to bring on Eric Wheelo to talk about that Brewers series. We'll be right back.
All over Chicagoland, there are thirsty, frazzled, overworked Cubs podcasters who are struggling to survive one more baseball season in the dog-eat-dog world of unpaid content creation. But it doesn't have to be this way. You can make a difference. Become a super ranter at patreon.com/sunranto, where your support ensures that poor, sad, pathetic, ugly, loser Cubs podcasters can pay for tickets and beer, and in turn, line the pockets of the baseball oligarch Ricketts family. Just $1 a month can buy a scorecard. $5 a month can pay for guitar strings to write a Cubs song. And $10 a month almost buys one beer at Wrigley Field. Cubs content creators are the lowest pieces of pond scum garbage that slither over the face of this planet. But super ranters help them get drunk and screw off at baseball games. What do you get out of it? The Sun Ranto Show delivered to your podcatcher without stupid advertisements like the one you're seeing and hearing right now. Plus, at other Super Ranter levels, you can get Cubs music, access to private Sun Ranto pages, the Ranter calendar, and special thanks and Ranter recognition in our live broadcasts. Plus, eligibility for monthly prizes. What does Sun Ranto get out of it? Your money. For tickets and beer. Go to patreon.com/sunranto. That's patreon.com/sunranto. And become a super ranter today.
Welcome back to the Sun Ranto Show. We're going to be giving away a Patreon prize of the month of an In the Clutch t-shirt. And you can buy a t-shirt too at intheclutch.com. Use promo code SunRanto, of course, for 10% off. And you could get this fabulous Clark flying the W himself in Billy's ballpark. But yeah, we're going to give that away a little bit later in the show. You still have time, and you could win even tonight. You could win that In the Clutch t-shirt if you sign up at patreon.com/sunranto. Free trials are available right now. So the Brewers were not losing at all. And then they came to Wrigley Field and It's not what Eric Wheelo predicted, and we're going to find out why it didn't go down as he said it was going to come to pass. Eric Wheelo, welcome to the Son Ranto Show. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm actually wearing my In the Clutch shirt right here, baby. So shout out to Billy right there, man. Here we go.
Bringing home the cheddar. That
rules.
That's a pretty great hat. I mean,
like
sure.
that one, yeah.
Bring home the cheddar.
Oh my God. Who's that on the right?
Right here?
Oh, is that Rowdy?
It's Rowdy. I think this is Christian and Adamas, right? Right?
Yeah.
There we go.
I think you went backwards, but we all knew what you meant.
Yeah. There we go.
So what the hell happened, man? I mean, you come in, you tape game one, and I'm like, oh no, Wade Miley beat us. We're going to get swept now because now you got your aces coming on. And then 1-0 gem of a ball game, and then we did it again to you the next night with your two aces on the mound. What happened? Why did you fail so miserably?
Fail so miserably? I mean, when Miley beat you guys, I was getting tweets and messages from your fans like the season's over, this team is dog shit. Just everybody was giving up in the Cubs because Wade Miley broke you. And then Justin Steele comes. It's a 1-0 game. I mean, it's as close as can be. I mean, if I'm a Brewers fan and we're playing in Wrigley and we lose 1-0 and then 2-3 the next day, and then blow out in game one, and then go and win 2-3 against the Phillies,
I want to know why
you kissing my ass right now
after that first game.
Michael,
I didn't hear from you. I heard from you after the first game.
Yeah,
I didn't hear anything until right now after those other two games.
Well,
so
I'll say
I get what happened to the Brewers. I just don't know what happened to you.
Cato Kalin is back, everybody. He's and in all caps,
best part of the Brewers fan base.
Yeah, in all caps, Cato says, Yelich, you fucking suck. Over fucking rated. Everyone knows you would hit into double play to second base. That's all you do. Cut yourself and get out of Milwaukee, Brewers. Adames can't hit, can't field. You cost us the game. Again, pretenders, not contenders. Same old piece of shit team year after year. Goodbye, X. And then
not even
emoji.
goodbye Twitter anymore. It's goodbye X now.
Goodbye X. Goodbye.
He's one of those people
X.
that changed the name.
This is a
agree?
quote unquote celebrity who won the 50-50 raffle at the Brewers game and didn't donate any of it back to charity. He's a real piece of shit, if you ask me. Okay. So if you Cubs fans want to align yourself with Cato Kalin as like the voice of the Brewers pulse here, I mean, come on.
That's
Cato
not us
Kalin?
aligning ourselves with anything. That's us pointing out a bad Brewers fan.
Well, there's the lady with the big boobs in the front row. That's the other one you
Front
got,
row
you know?
Yeah, she rules.
But she doesn't tweet, as far as I know.
She doesn't tweet, but she
doesn't need to.
Not much of a tweeter. But but who else do you got? Who even likes the Brewers besides you, Cato, and front row Amy?
Well,
do you have? I mean,
I think the Cubs.
I'm not shaming your fan base. I'm just saying, like,
thing.
nobody's really believing in you from, like, the intelligentsia.
Nobody believes in us coming from
not
the Cubs.
not from like no, not really. No, I mean maybe Craig Counsell a little bit believes in you, but he wants off the ship. He wants so badly to manage the Cubs. That he's like trying to get out of his contract right now. He's like showcasing for us as we speak. You know what I mean? He's like, I'll let you, he wants us to win. It's obvious because we let us beat him. Because normally under circumstances, Craig Counsell takes both of those close games. No doubt in my mind that we lose, we get swept. If Craig Counsell's trying, but
he's trying, yeah,
he's showcasing for the Cubs. He's like, look what I can do. I can make Cubs wins. I'm Craig Counsell. You got my word on it.
Is this how desperate Cubs fans are? You're creating the conspiracy theories that he's throwing games to the Cubs so he can be your manager next year.
I do.
The best you're gonna get is anybody that moves south is Dale Swain, and how'd that go for you guys?
I wrote a fun parody song.
He had a great tattoo.
Yeah,
I'll say this: we were on this podcast and we said best case for the Cubs is you win 2 or 3 or you sweep the Brewers, right? So you win 2 or 3, and then the Brewers go on and play the Phillies, and we did the job for you. So you're welcome, Cubs Nation. The Brewers won 2 or 3 against the Phillies. But guys, if you're looking up right now, we're still 2.5 games up. Are we not? Are we not?
Yeah, but you
are we not?
You were 5. You were 5 at one point.
And when were you in first?
We have cut that lead in half
when were
in
you
just
there?
like 3 days.
A little day called opening day. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Everyone in the NL Central got their turn to be in first, except the Cubs. I mean, we even had a fun week stretch.
I know.
We played you guys.
I said it was.
You guys have some devil magic over the Reds that I don't understand. I'm like, how do they know us so well, but yet everybody else, like if you looked at that record going into that series at the end of going to the All-Star break or right after.
Devil magic for the Cubs?
Yeah, the devil magic is Cardinals only. And like,
you know what?
I'm all here for it. It is.
If the
Sorry,
Cardinals
hold
are
on.
that bad
This is on.
we took their devil magic
Listen,
all day long. I want that devil magic.
Look, devil magic is reserved for the Cardinals. And the reason that the Brewers will never aspire to be the type of rival that the Cardinals are to the rest of the division is because y'all don't even understand the things that are like held sacrosanct in the division. You think that you're the rivals of the Cubs. You think that you're the rivals of the Reds. You think that we all care. And it's just like the most annoying little brother syndrome shit ever. Devil magic is the Cardinals. Y'all are new here. And I'm sorry that you didn't get the memo.
Little brother syndrome. You've been looking up at the Brewers for how many years?
How
many years? You win one. You win one.
Lakeshore Drive, like you don't even see it.
You're our little brother. You're our little brother. You've been looking up at the Brewers for how many years straight here? How many playoffs?
Rings do the Brewers have? How many?
0.
Rings?
How many do you have in the last 100?
1.
3.
Yeah.
1. 3. Well, not in our lifetime.
Congratulations.
I didn't hear the 100 first there, but it doesn't even matter. They weren't
Billy,
around until
Billy,
like
I can't believe Billy's over there. He's like not saying
and then
anything.
They were in the AL. Like,
you guys
how
are
am
like
I supposed to care about a team that was in the AL when I was a kid?
You're the college kid that like you've graduated, you've done nothing with your life, but you were cool in high school. That's what the Cubs are.
He's not wrong, but it is kind of uncanny. I just want to like let everybody in on what the record actually is between the Brewers and the Reds, and what Billy's referring to is the Reds are 3-10 versus Milwaukee this year. So talk about little brother, because right now the Reds have the season series against the Cubs. So if there was a tie for the third place between the Cubs and the Reds take it. Cubs go home. Like that's how it would be right now. So what is it that and the Brewers and Cubs are even Steven 6-5, I think. What is the record right now? 6-5, I think.
And then that's how you guys close out the season.
Yeah, we play each other in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and we're done with you. Thank you so much. It's finally over.
You're very welcome.
Appreciate it, man.
I was on this podcast and I said the Pirates started out hot. Everybody's gone on these cute runs. Everybody's like, oh, look at the Pirates. They're young. And then the Reds came on. And you guys have been okay. But you're a Reds fan. You bring the young talent up. You have 1 month. Everybody's believing. You're kind of there, but it's the Reds. It's not going to happen. And then, oh, look, the Cubs come on. They have a great year. You finally believe in the team. You're 2.5 back. But guys, it's September baseball. It's Brewers month. Brewers are going to own it in September. I'm not worried.
How are you doing so far in September?
Oh, we lost 1 game against the Pirates so far.
Yeah, thank you, Pirates. Yeah, and Brewers and Cubs are 5-5. So this last season series is going to be pretty exciting. I mean, it would be cool if we're in striking distance, or wouldn't it be great to go into
We're in striking distance now?
You're in striking distance, absolutely. But
no,
your schedule, you have a way tougher road to get there than the Brewers do. You're playing the Giants now. You have the D-backs twice, right? And then you have the Braves, and then you have the Brewers. Okay, that's not easy.
The Rockies in there too.
I know you have them,
and the Pirates. Yeah.
But you have some tough teams that are competing still, that are relevant. Brewers go
I'll put it up.
Pirates, Yankees, Marlins, Nationals, Cardinals, Marlins, Cardinals, Cubs. Guys,
watch out for that Nationals team. They were 17-10 in August.
I know, they're surprising.
And don't sleep on the Reds schedule either. It's pretty easy after we get through the Seattle series, which again, we're 12-1 against the AL West with that one loss being to the A's, which is insane.
Yeah,
But
how do you have like 7 days off in September too? The Reds, they've played 2 more games than everybody. They remember that stretch of the Cubs was like 2 weeks ago where they had like 4 days off in a 10-day period or something like that. Just oddly, Reds have one of those coming up where they're off 3 times in a week.
Well, the Reds only had 1 day off in April. And so they really backloaded it and flipped it. So yeah, we've got Mariners,
that's that MLB
Cardinals,
schedule makers.
Tigers, Mets, Twins, Pirates, Guardians, and then close it out against St. Louis. So a lot easier road.
And a lot more back than the rest of us. What, 5.5 right now?
Yeah.
Do you believe in the Reds team? Do you think you can go out red with this team?
I think that we can get that last wild card spot. That is the ceiling. Because we hold the season series against the Cubs. We hold it against the Diamondbacks. And I don't think we have it against the Giants, but the Giants are going to fall off. So not too worried.
The Giants and the Cubs
the Cubs have 7 games against those Diamondbacks coming up. And we're going to sweep that straight out. So they're going to drop 7. So as long as the Reds can keep from losing 7 straight at the same time, they should be in that 3rd spot.
And I don't think they will. That's just, they find a way. Even though, 3/5 of our rotation's out right now, 2 COVID, 1 broken toe, they'll still find a way. It's just how this whole year has been.
How long is the COVID protocol now? Like, I have no idea anymore. Like, it's been a while since I've seen a player get it.
As soon as you don't have symptoms, you can go back out.
Oh, okay. So, a few days, like 5 days or something.
So, because now here's what's interesting. The only reason we're having this conversation is because they've added this extra wild card spot, and not only, like, we might be sniffing the second one, and there might be a chance. So this is the first year we have that 3rd, right? Or they had it last year.
They had it last
year.
It's the new CBA.
Yeah. So since we have this extra thing, and because I think I counted, there's only 5 NL teams out of it right now. So all year long,
being the Cardinals.
Yeah. Oh, thanks for bringing that up. But how do you feel about the idea that, like, the Reds, they don't really feel like a playoff team to me. They feel like a good up and coming team. The Cubs all year, they haven't felt like a playoff team, but yet here we sit as a playoff team. Does it kind of bug you in any way that you'd be going into the playoffs and letting the ownership be able to say, we went to the playoffs, when you're like, yeah, but you didn't really build a playoff team as I've understood them to be built in the past with, like, good players and stuff?
Well, it annoys me, but I feel like Wheelo should be really upset that how long have the Brewers been in first place? How long have they had the opportunity to just walk away with this division and just fuck that every goddamn time, so that now you're going to get caught at the end of the year by the Cubs?
I got to be honest with you. All right. Yes, we've fumbled first places before, but we still got in. We still made it to the dance. We've made some pushes.
Well, I'm saying this year.
Oh, this year?
Everything was there for you. The Brewers could have just ran away with this division, and
with a hurt team, with Woodruff going down, some bats that weren't showing up. Adames is just finally showing up. Contreras is figuring it out. The back end of that rotation is figuring it out. And I feel like we're peaking at the right time. That's why we didn't run away with it. To be 100% honest with you, we were a hurt team that didn't have a great rotation, and now we're healthy, and now we're coming back. That's how I'll put it. We are peaking at the right time. If you watch these Cubs series, I mean, come on, 2-1, 1-0, 2-3, those felt like playoff games. That atmosphere felt like playoff baseball.
Yeah,
I mean,
we
Steele
won
versus Burns. I mean, it awesome
really
to watch.
felt like playoff baseball because the Brewers lost.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Hey, it's real familiar. Well, how would you like to take a spin of the bitch clock, Eric? Like I've got the fan-based bitch clock for you here.
Okay.
So I'm gonna share my visitors bitch clock here. So can everybody see that? Okay, I'm gonna take anything to add to this bitch clock, by the way. We have Cubs fans, Bellinger, Wrigley North, the W flag, Cubs fans from Wisconsin, Julio Urias, and Chicago's arrogance.
Oh, I was going to say false arrogance, but arrogance works.
Is it false though, or are we actually arrogant?
You are.
So anything to add? Anything from the chat that you'd like to add?
Oh, I'm sure Wheelo probably is still upset about the sunny day rainout. You can throw that in there.
Okay.
Oh, the rainouts. Yeah. Canceling games.
Yeah,
all the time for no reason at all.
Games. Okay. We'll put that in there. All right, cool. Let's give it a spin and let's see what you guys can see that this time, right?
Yes. We can see it.
Okay. So the winner is Cody Bellinger.
Oh God.
Cody Bellinger is the winner. You 60 or 30 on this one, you think?
We'll do 30 on Bellinger. Why not?
Okay. All right. 30 on the belly. Here we go. I got to start it again. Here we go.
Bitch clock, you have 30 seconds to bitch.
Why don't I like Cody Bellinger? Well, I think the only thing you guys enjoy about him is that he looks high all the time. I mean, Billy's made shirts about his stoner mentality. And it's a delusion, much like the Chicago fan base. I think you guys are just high, much like Bellinger. And here's what's going to happen. You sign him to a one-year deal because you don't believe in the guy. I love about Cody Bellinger how much he's going to break your heart when he's not a Cub next year.
Stop your bitch.
It is true.
That's exactly what I said earlier. I was like, he's going to look really good in pinstripes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's already in pinstripes. We literally play the Cubs play in pinstripes.
Sorry, navy pinstripes. Sorry.
Okay.
I will be more specific.
Yeah, it is heartbreaking, but
though it's a guy who's been here for 47 seconds, and it's not heartbreaking.
I just feel it is heartbreaking because
I'm so sad Cody Bellinger has been here for 20 seconds and now he won't be a Cub anymore.
Well, no, it's bad because then you're like, why didn't you trade him?
Yeah.
So they could win. So we could watch this.
But
so we could enjoy baseball for an extra month and change. That's the whole point of the whole thing.
If we don't re-sign Bellinger.
No. I'm so over people like prioritizing prospects and draft picks over winning baseball. You get those guys so that you can win baseball and enjoy baseball in September. And you're like, why didn't we trade Bellinger so baseball would suck in September and we could hope for some year in 2027?
No. And here's the thing.
I'm saying re-sign Bellinger.
That's what I'm saying, that you won't.
Yeah, but if the front office had any like actual faith in the players and their ability to see whether a player is going to be good or not, they would have given Bellinger a 4 or 5 year deal last year when he was looking. Instead, they were like, we'll just get 1 year out of you. They put themselves in that position and they made the right choice at the trade deadline. You don't get rid of him because he's the best player on the team. But if they truly believed that he was going to be good, they should have given him more years.
He didn't want more years. He was looking for a 1 year contract to flip to his free agent year so that he could get a big deal after he proved he was good. They weren't looking for a multi-year deal. Also, like, we don't know that the Cubs won't be in on a multi-year deal for Bellinger or that he's going to just run to New York. I mean, the guy already proved that he is fragile enough that he can become the worst player in baseball at the drop of a hat. If I were him, I would want to take whatever the deal is for the team that made me good again.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I thought the Cubs wanted the 1 year deal because that's been their MO.
No.
So I didn't realize Bellinger was looking for the 1 year.
No, I think they
he
both
was trying to pull a Jock Peterson and end up on a world championship team halfway through the season.
Both things are true. Both things are true. It worked out that way. Cubs were like, we don't know what we're going to be. We'll take Belly on the 1-year deal. Let him showcase himself for the big guns. And Belly's like, that's perfect for me because I only want a 1-year deal, and I want to showcase myself for a big contract. And I've also been told that through the grapevine that if the Cubs were to show him a good number in a contract, that he would say yes to it. That he likes Chicago. And it's obvious why he would, because it's going great. So I do think that by keeping him, we maybe are in the front running for actually keeping him, by keeping him. I don't think he's going to, I think we've got a better shot at retaining his services into the foreseeable future by not trading him.
Well, I hope so, because Bellinger's the best player on this team, like hands down.
All right, so we're gonna take last question to Eric. So, fine, you win the division. That happens for you. When you look around and in your heart of hearts, when you look around at the teams like the Braves or the Dodgers, yet once again, who broke your little heart last year, and even what's going on in the powerhouse American League, do you think that the little brother Brewers can pull it out and this could finally be your year? Do you have that feeling that this is the year in your heart?
I got a feeling. Is it the feeling? I don't know. But I will say this. There is a fire. There is a fire. And I'll tell you why. This team is built in the right way. You got 3 studs at the top in Peralta, Burns, and Woodruff. You have a great bullpen, and these bats are coming around. Atlanta, who is keeping up with that team? Who's keeping up with them? What fan base are you going? Are you feeling that fire looking at the Braves and what they can do offensively? But I will say
we beat them. Cubs can beat these good teams. Even with Javier Assad, we could beat you.
You asked me.
I
feel the fire.
Yeah. You do though.
I do feel it. I feel a little bit. I've told you the window's
It feels
closed
like
on
you
this.
don't feel it because you immediately started talking about how good the Braves were.
You're like,
they are good. They're great. They're amazing.
Good,
Thank you, Billy. Say something. I'm not delusional. I'd be delusional to say, yes, I think this Brewers team.
My team can win the World Series. I don't say, I say no if I don't think they can. You were like, no, I got a feeling. Of course, there's this other team that's way better than us, so I don't know what to do with that.
I have a feeling if everything lines up, and this Brewers team hits its stride, which I'm seeing them do in moments, they have the guys that can make a run. They have it. Burns, Woodruff, Peralta, back into that rotation. Yelich is getting hot. Contreras is out of his mind right now. Adames is figuring out a healthy Roddy Tellez. Like, you got Canna, right? You got Santana. You've picked up pieces that have playoff experience.
The Sheriff. Don't forget Chafin.
You want to shit on you call them the little brother Brewers, but the Brewers are a pretty stacked, formidable team that can make a run.
That's why it's so great when they come in second to the Cubs this year.
It's not going to happen.
I've been on the division train the entire time. The Brewers have not walked away with this division. Nobody has. The Cubs you're talking about the Brewers hitting their stride. The Cubs are hitting their stride right now. They're playing the best baseball of their year.
I don't disagree with that.
They're chasing you down, and it's going to happen. That last series,
last day,
the dagger in your heart.
And you say this right before I got on the podcast, and you just shit on Ross and how terrible he is and how he sabotages this team. You're believing in that guy on this stretch run.
The team is awesome.
Yes.
They are so good. They can beat all of y'all with this management that they have to deal with.
So, Billy, I got the same question for you, is that it's been an exciting year for your young guys and stuff. But if you were managed to get to a playoff, third playoff spot, how much further do you really feel they could go? I mean,
anything can happen in October. I mean, look at what the Phillies did last year. I mean, it's just get there. And then if you're hot and it works out, shit, it's playoff baseball. Who knows, man? We can all look at our spreadsheets. We can scour Baseball Reference. We can dig deep into fan graphs. Well, what we all know as baseball fans is October is such a different beast. So,
that's why we call it the end of season tournament now. Like it, as much as October was different, it is now. It's like a completely different animal altogether. It's not a playoffs anymore. It's a tournament. It's a postseason tournament.
That's why so many teams are in it right now. That's why everybody's fighting for it. And also I think it has to do with the balanced schedule as well.
I want to ask one question.
Bill Surgis points out, they lost the World Series. That's what the Phillies did.
Yeah.
We all started this year shitting on this division and shitting how weak it was and how bad it was. And let's say Cubs, Reds, Brewers all make it into the playoffs, right?
It's insane.
What does that say about us? What does that say about us?
It says we played each other to even all year long and racked up wins against each other, and that just a rising tide lifts all boats. I think this is like a tide going out lifts all boats. Like it's the opposite. Like we all got to look better from like winning games against each other's crappy teams, and like we just kind of, except for your team, like Cubs and Brewers 5-5. Cubs and Reds, same thing, like right up the middle, like 500 against each other. Reds just up by a game. You guys have a little disparity. We got a disparity against the Pirates, but like for the most part, like we're just like, everybody's even keel. And it could be like 2020 where nobody wins a single game. In fact, I think that there wasn't even a single run scored from the NL Central in 2020 in that weird situation after COVID.
Ian Happ hit a single solo shot home run.
I think you're also not giving enough credit to what all of our clubs are doing outside of the division. Like I said earlier, 12-1 against the AL West, and they can have 3 playoff teams from their division.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing that once we stop playing each other and we know each other so well and go out, it's like, oh, we're actually pretty good baseball teams. Huh. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll see who will be the king of the posers, right? That's what we're fighting for.
And even if one of us moves on or whatever, the national landscape just can be like, oh, the NL Central still sucks, even though they moved on and they're in the NLDS. Like, no matter what, the entire division is the little brother of all of baseball.
We are the flyover states. So we're gonna take a commercial break. I'll let you guys go. Thanks for coming on the pod. Billy, I know you got to sober up. Maybe take a nice little barf, eat a Sky Rosa, soak up that liquor, have a little Malort to wash it down.
That's right.
It's a hair of the dog.
Well, I'm finally going to have dinner. So,
and Eric, we'll see you at the end of the month, my friend.
We shall.
Yeah,
this will be great.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Any chance that you could come in for the game, because I'll get us tickets, like you should come in. It's a weekend.
All right.
A weekend in Milwaukee.
It's in Milwaukee. We've done this. Are you going to bring Crawley again?
Well, don't you think I kind of have to after what happened?
I like how Danny is inviting Wheelo in to watch the Cubs celebrate the division on the.
I want him to see with his own eyes.
It's going to be long over before we even get there, guys. Don't worry about that.
We shall see. In the meantime, go buy yourself an In the Clutch shirt from our friend Billy there, and Eric's wearing one too. So we'll be right back, and we're going to take a spin of a bitch clock ourselves. See you on the flip side.
Thanks for having us, Oxford.
If you like the Cubs a bunch, buy your t-shirts from In the Clutch. We've got all the best styles for you. Dansby, Saya, Morel too. Clark Fly in his W. Cody Bellinger smoking deuce. Vintage shirts from days of old. Patrick, Wisdom, and Nico. You'll look sharp wearing your stro. 10% off with the code SONRANTO. SONRANTO. InTheClutch.com is your store for the most fun baseball shirts on the planet. Don't forget to use promo code SUNRANTO to knock a couple bucks off your purchase. Stack or die, we need more cups. Get it all at In The Clutch. Cause if you like the Cubs a bunch, buy t-shirts from In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch. Get it all at In The Clutch.
Welcome back to the Sun Ranto Show. Sara, because you are the reigning champion of the bitch clock, in my opinion, do you think that you should be the first one to do the bitch clock or the last one to go on bitch clock?
Sure, that was
you're muted.
Oh.
Sorry, there's some background noise a little bit ago. I can go last.
Okay. So Michael, do you want to? I'll go first. I'll volunteer myself to go first, even though this whole thing, the timing thing, makes me nervous, especially when the guy goes 10 seconds, and I'm like, ah!
Oh, I'm terrible at these. I love getting worked up on a rant when something comes to me, but man, I get the deer in the headlights. I'm looking at the thing. It's tough.
Well, we've got a whole new set of bitch clock topics here. The first one being, dude, where's my Canario? The second one being, dude, where's my Shane Green? The third one being, dude, where's my PCA? The gassed bullpen, David Ross not playing your best nine. That's almost like saying David Ross.
Yeah.
Handedness matchups. That's also like saying David Ross. That they took until August to care. The wisdom of wisdom. The passiveness to move on from failure. I like that one. I hope I get it. Pollyanna Facebook groups, 2 out pitching changes, and then Julio Urias, the wild card, and Bellinger. I'm going to put Bellinger in there, not signing Bellinger, or how the whole Bellinger thing's going to go down in your opinion. So I'm going to spin it, and here we go. Let's see what I get. Ooh, that it took until August to care. Ooh. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Okay, here we go. I'm going to put a minute on the clock. I got a minute in me. Here we go.
You have 60 seconds to bitch.
You know, in the great city of Chicago, Illinois, we have a long and storied baseball tradition. And that comes with it some responsibilities from the Major League Baseball teams that are in Chicago. And specifically the Chicago Cubs, who have actually fans all over the country. So what they did was they built themselves a little team that they could maybe try out some of the new guys, give them a taste of it. Your little Mervises, your little Morels. They didn't necessarily believe in these guys, but they're going to give them a taste. Good little placeholders for the moment. Well, they could flip off some guys like Stroman, which they didn't do. Or they could flip off guys like Bellinger, which they also didn't do. So they could fake go for it, like get an expiring contract from Canario. It's not enough. And I actually think that they still don't care. They're fine with just making the last freaking little sliver of the playoffs and waltz in there and be like, we made the playoffs. And they don't care. They still don't care.
Bitching.
I am going to agree with you in that. Yeah, I think the front office doesn't care. I think it's been this way all season long. They're only concerned about getting into one of those 3 wild card spots. If they were to somehow get into the division, well, that's just gravy for them. They're not really into it. And we see it all the time, just the way that they're managing even the guys that they call up that we never get to see. Like, this team feels, the front office, the decision, it just feels weird. Like, it feels weird that the team is doing as well as it is when we watch how mismanaged they are constantly. I just have to say the team, the actual players could be just so much better. And if they could, if they just had the right structure behind them, I think they would own this division for the next few years.
Bill Siga says cotton rebuttal longer than actual bitch clock.
It wasn't a rebuttal. It was an agreement with him.
I know. I was like, he's not even disagreeing. He's just like, I don't know what you're actually doing. You're wasting our time.
The word rebuttal.
So I actually, Sarah, do you agree with that assessment that the front office is more interested in their maybe 5-year plan than this year?
They're not interested in a 5-year plan. They're interested in selling beer bats to as many people as they possibly can during the time that baseball season is ongoing. And in order to do that, they have to put like some minimal product on the field. And if that minimal product happens to be competitive in September, that sells them more beer bats. Like I think that it's just all a very profit-driven affair.
Yeah.
By the way, I saw a guy get a beer bat sitting right in front of me at the game I was at. And don't do it, folks. It's a bad situation. This dude gets the beer bat. It's very long. And he's like kind of struggling with it. But he drinks it. And yeah, and like he's trying not to hit the person's head in front of him, you know, and moving around. And then when he's done, no shit. Dude spent like a full inning just trying to figure out what to do with the beer bat when he was done with it, because he wanted to keep it because he spent $30 on it, but he had no place to put it. It was a mess. And I just happened to be sitting right behind him, watching him try to figure this out. I could smell toast. It was bad.
I'm putting beer bats on the bitch clock for you. So
I did it.
So here we go. We're gonna take a spin of the bitch clock for you with beer bats on it now. Round and round she goes. Where she stops, only the bitch clock knows. Ooh, handedness matchups is what you get. 30 or 60?
Oh, fuck. Give me the 60.
Watch
right, me die.
Here we go. Start.
So there we go.
All right, here we go.
It says stop bitching already.
Bitch clock, you have 60 seconds to bitch.
So the handed thing with David Ross and the front office and what they're doing drives me insane, because it does not matter what the players are actually doing, whether they're playing well, whether they're playing bad. They just do the shit that the fucking calculator tells them to do, whether it makes any sense at all or not. Which brings me to something I wanted to bring up. 8th inning against the Brewers. The Cubs have 2 guys on. They're down by 1, and somehow they picked Nico Horner to lay down a fucking sacrifice bunt to move these guys over. Now, it did work out for them, but that was the stupidest fucking thing ever, doing a bunt at that point when you only have 6 outs left to go. Thank God Cody Bellinger got a hit, because Ian Happ fucked that up. And the Cubs, it's not exactly handedness matchups, but it was a fucking stupid decision with a
Stop your bitching. Clock.
Oops. I love how you have to like bitch about something that you had on your mind from before. You're like, I've got 15 seconds left. Let me
And
another thing about the dumb punt.
Come on, I had to roll that into something else, because that bunt thing fucking drove me insane. And you want to know what drove me the most insane, though?
That we all disagreed with you?
Yes. I fucking like bunts. No one else likes bunts. Everybody bitches about bunts all the fucking time. And I'm sitting here in this game. We got guys on first and second, no outs. We only have 6 outs left in this game. The whole argument about bunts is that you're giving up a precious out, right? And when you have more of them at the beginning of the game, it's not as big a deal. But at the end of the game, that is a concern. And you don't fucking sacrifice somebody from first and second to second and third. That's not how that works. You already have a guy in scoring position. The point of a sacrifice bunt is to move them from a non-scoring position into a scoring position. If you've already got them there, and you've got Nico Horner up to bat, who we have talked about on this very show as being one of the most clutch guys on the game in this fucking team, you take the bat out of his hand and you give up one of the 6 outs you have left in this fucking game on the hopes that Ian Happ's going to come up and hit a fucking sac fly. Well, guess what? Ian Happ didn't do it. They fucking threw him out. And now we're in the same fucking situation because David Ross, at the worst fucking time ever, decided to do a sack bunt. And then I go out and I'm thinking, hey, I finally hate a bunt. There was a bunt I hate. And all you assholes are out there fucking like, well, it worked, so it must have been the right call. And I'm like, fuck you. You can't change your fucking mind over bunts just because it fucking worked out. That's not how the fucking thing works. They got fucking lucky on that bullshit. And I was pissed out there. Fucking, I'm on ball hawk corner. And I seriously think, like, for the first time ever, I'm going to agree with somebody on the butts. And you fuckers just, I thought it was a good idea. Which tells me
stay out of the double play.
Fucking clue what a butt is for.
You stay out of the double play. That's all I got to say about it. Simple as that.
Well,
no outs. Get the guy to third with one out. With less than 1 out. It worked out great.
This is a great. Terry E says Cotton loves bunts like Boog loves shoes.
So,
funny.
Sarah, it is your turn to take a spin of the bitch clock. Now, I do call you queen of the bitch clock, so I know it's a lot of pressure to put on you. But
I know. I'm like, what if I mess up?
Well, then you'll be dethroned. It's that simple. So, no, what are you hoping for? Just that
I don't
curious.
care. I'm hoping I don't get Julio Urias, honestly. I just don't really have that in me tonight.
Well, you could take a mulligan if you don't have it in you. Any of these. So I'm spinning it. Let's see what we get.
I just want to know if she just set herself up to get it.
Oh
no, she got
David Ross.
The Ross GPT.
Are you good with it?
Yeah, I'm good with it. That's
all right. So let's 30 or 60.
Everybody did 60. I'll do 60.
Okay, here we go. I gotta pull it back.
Bitch clock. You have 60 seconds to bitch.
David Ross is going to win Manager of the Year despite himself because the man does everything possible to lose baseball games, and yet he has talented enough players that they make up for it for him in the end. What on earth are we doing pinch hitting Miles Mastroboni so that he can bunt over 2 batters in a game where you need a big inning? Like, that worked out for you only because the Reds can't field and threw the ball away. Like, congratulations, that's great, but that's not actual good management or anything else. What is this bullpen usage? Why is Shane Green here? Like, Shane Green, was he literally just a decoy to convince people that you had some sort of opener situation and they could prep for Shane Green and then, no, we'll use Shane Green when we're up 8 tomorrow. Gotcha. Like, this is not a game of gotcha. You need to, and last but not least, David Ross is a terrible manager of people. Imagine you're Alexander Canario, you're living your dream, and your manager says, yeah, that dude's just at the back of the line for the foreseeable future. It's trash.
Stop your bitching.
Oh, that was good.
Long live the queen. That was amazing.
You nailed it.
You just nailed it every time.
I almost forgot the Alexander Canario thing. I was like, oh yeah, I gotta get that in there.
And that Canario point is brilliant too, because he gets called up finally, and has David Ross even talked to him? Because he's acting like, oh, he's at the back of the depth lineup behind Miles Mastroboni.
I mean, it's unbelievable. Miles Mastroboni is getting at bats, and Alexander Canario is on the bench.
It is just wild. Yeah, Bill says Sarah the winner and still champion.
I think so.
Yeah, it's wild, and I didn't really know who Shane Green was at all, but
I still don't.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure who he is, but I will put up his numbers just so everybody can see him. He's been around a long time. He came up with the Yankees in 2014 at age 25. He's now 34 after being on the Tigers for a long time. That's where I kind of remember him from, Atlanta, and which I don't really remember. And then he was with the Dodgers and then back to the Yankees. So yeah, what do you think? A decoy? You think he might have been you're muted again, Sarah.
My apologies. Yeah, I think that's exactly what they were doing. I think that they were trying to be like, Shane Green's going to be the opener. That's who you would prep for. And then they just don't use him for the whole game. And they think they're clever. And I think that's amateur hour. This is the big leagues. Like, you don't need to be playing around with like, maybe it's this guy, maybe it's that guy. I mean, the Giants are doing the same thing. They haven't announced their starter for tomorrow, or they have before we had started this show. It's like, oh, well, you can't scout us because we're not going to tell you until the last minute.
Well, I was listening to the Giants broadcast today, and they were saying that they didn't know. They were like, I guess it's a bullpen game. So not even the announcers really have a real good feel for what the Giants are doing right now.
Well, and I was kind of surprised to all of us when we threw Kwas out there the other day as this opener, and then using Wisniewski,
pulled him with 2 outs.
Yeah, with 2 outs, they pull him. And one thing about that 2 out, because one of the bitch clock topics being the pulling a guy with 2 outs, I think a lot of that is trying to get away from the 3 batter rule. I think it's trying to manipulate that situation. It doesn't always make sense that way.
No, it doesn't make any sense at all. Like,
well, you could maybe not use. Well, basically, you could maybe not bring him back out. Like, let's say then your team comes up and scores 10 runs, then maybe take him out of the game and put in Shane Green. You know what I mean? Like,
well, but it seems to be in these situations where you kind of you sort of understand it. It's just, it seems like all the decisions are predetermined. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like, which is why this whole manager of the year talk is so frustrating, because it doesn't seem like he's actually managing. It seems like he has a spreadsheet of predetermined situations, and then he just goes to those. And it could be the handedness thing too. They got he's got 4% better stats against the lefty or the righty or this guy versus that guy. And so instead of just saying, let's not bring in a new guy to a dirty inning, let's let our guy finish it, they're bringing these guys in, and it doesn't work that often. I mean, we had a number of very noticeable times when that didn't work. Tyone the other day, he had 2 outs. He could have gotten out of that and finished that up. And no, they pull him. What is it? Merriweather came in with, I think, with a guy at second base, that ultimately scored. When Alzolay came in the 8th inning with bases loaded, it's like, that's just such a hard situation to come in, and these guys are so tired. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But it really does feel like, man, that alarm goes off every time 2 outs shows up, and they're just looking for a reason to get a new pitcher in there.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take one more just really quick 30-second commercial break for the Cubs PS Plus podcast. And then we're going to talk about some of these teams we're going to face this week. And don't forget that tonight, for all of our Patreon subscribers, we will be over on the Discord, little post-game show and or hangout, I should say, not a show. But yeah, we'll be right back.
Do you ever find yourself longing for long walks and talks about catcher metrics? How about a coffee over run differential? Maybe a candlelit dinner dissecting what exactly is the curious case of Miles Mastrobuoni? If you have, I have just the place for you, the Cubs PS Plus podcast. Come join us. Cubs PS Plus, a North Side Numbers game, can be found wherever it is you get your podcasts, and on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, all at Cubs PS Plus, a spin on the baseball metric OPS Plus. Are you ready? I'm ready. Here we go.
We are back What happened to Sarah? She's like, you know what? I don't want to talk about what's coming up. It's too painful.
She's her camera, I think, just turned off or something.
Yeah.
Maybe she's doing. She's probably having to research the third quarterback on the Cincinnati Bengals right now.
Oh, that's right.
So
I forgot she's doing.
she's in the middle of that draft. So.
Yeah. So we're playing really important teams right now. The Giants, they handled today. They shut them out. They got 2 more against them. We have no idea who we're going to throw out or who they're going to throw out. We're going to throw out Hendo and Wicks, which I think we all feel pretty good about.
Wicks was a little shakier in his second start than he was in the first one, of course, because, obviously he was great in that first one. So, I'm just hoping for something in between those two, and he's going to be great.
Yeah, and the Giants, I mean, they picked up a couple of guys in that waiver situation, and I think that's kind of interesting. So did the Reds, and the Giants and the Reds are pretty much that. I think they have the exact same record.
Right. Yeah, I was really surprised to see Paul DeJong on this team.
Yeah, because was he one of the waiver dudes that came through?
I think so. I don't know. Like, I feel like Paul DeJong has been on like 3 different teams this year.
Either way, even if it's not a waiver situation, it's a middling team. The Giants, they don't feel like a playoff team except for a couple of guys that are really good. And then they just have like dudes that like are filling in, like, oh, we had this weakness. We'll get Paul DeJong, like that's kind of how it feels with the Giants. They don't impress me. They've not been good. We're 2-1.
Yeah, that's why he was so familiar. He was with Toronto when we played Toronto just last month.
We just played him.
Yeah, we just played him. That's why I was like, wow. So he was with St. Louis to start the year, then Toronto, and now he's with San Francisco.
So they're scuffling. They just lost 3 or 4 to the Padres before losing to us today. And then we got the Diamondbacks, which I guess you're going to throw Assad out there. You got to. And I think he's just in the rotation now. And then, and then I don't know what on Friday, maybe a bullpen kind of game again. And then unless you're going to let Smiley start it, which nobody wants. And then you come back around and steal and Hendo. And this is a Diamondbacks team that was flying high at the beginning of the year, and they've come way back down to earth. They're only 18-28 since the All-Star break. They got swept by the Dodgers. They lost 2 or 3 to Baltimore, and they're playing Colorado at home right now. I don't know what they're doing, but they got to come out here from the West Coast to face us. The only guy we're not going to face is Zach Davies. They got some good pitching. We'll probably face Gallen and Merrill Kelly. And
Gallen's one of those guys in the Cy Young talk, I think.
Yeah,
Sarah, am I right about that?
No, he is. Yeah, absolutely.
Sarah gave me the thumbs up.
So
she's
I don't know
because she's working on the football draft.
Giant.
Sorry. I'm multitasking. I apologize.
No, but the Giants and the D-backs, we haven't faced the D-backs this year at all. Haven't seen them, but they've been doing bad. I mean, once again, the Dodgers are on top of that division. I mean, the Cubs, I don't know. I just like the way we're playing right now. I don't see why we can't win all these games. Why all these games should not be winnable games.
Oh, for sure. And I'm not sure why we couldn't have swept that Brewer series. I'm not sure why we couldn't have
the Reds
swept the Reds series, because all very, very tight games. Now, I think Wheelo said that it did feel like playoff baseball, and it really does, because right now it is all about the pitchers. The pitchers seem the winning, right? Is the pitchers dominating. Alfie, sorry, you're wrong. Swanson and Horner fucked that game up for Tyone.
You're talking about the Monday, the Brewers.
I'm talking about the Brewers game that we lost. That is squarely on the shoulders of Swanson and Horner.
Tyone sucked on
their
Alfie's talking
errors
about the
gave up
Reds game
4
where
runs.
Tyon just gave up dinger after dinger after
he's
dinger.
talking about the
And the Cubs won,
Yeah.
but honestly did not deserve to.
Yeah, either way, like Tyone, you got you guys making some mistakes on the field that might screw you up and everything. That might let a run or two in, but it's on you now to strike out the side and pick up your teammates.
I understand that.
Tyone's not that guy. He's not a stopper. He's not that good. He's been having a terrible year.
He's not that good. But he is. This is the thing that drives me nuts for some reason, because Tyone has a name that people for whatever reason put some sort of like importance to. Everybody gets pissed off every time he does something. He's a fucking 5th starter. And as a 5th starter, he's fine. He's a fucking 5th starter. That's just what he does.
He was supposed to be. He's getting paid $17 million. He's getting paid like a number 2.
He's not, though. And if you want to fucking make your life miserable by saying, you know what? He's making enough money. He should be doing. No, his job is to go out there and not get completely hammered so that the Cubs hopefully can come back in the end of the game. That's his only job. If he does better than that, great. But that's it. He's a 5th starter. That's all. And for whatever reason, Cubs fans can't get it out of their head that he wasn't not time for that 5th starter.
Yeah, no, I know he's pitching like a 6th starter. He's pitching like a guy that needs to get moved to the bullpen, and they won't do it, because they're paying him too much, and they need him to work out because he was supposed to be an innings eater. He's not even doing that. It's not like he's giving up 4 runs and he's got an ERA in the 4s. Like that would have been like, oh yeah, we signed this guy. He's going 6-7 innings, gives up 4 or 5 runs each time. The offense got their work cut out for him, and he's not even doing that.
I disagree with everyone on Tyone. He is not a great pitcher, but he is. Everybody's losing their fucking. I saw somebody on Reddit the other day asking who was worse, Chatwood or Tyone. Who the fuck even thinks Chatwood could hold a candle to what Tyone's doing right now? Chatwood had 98 walks in 100 innings. Like what the? It's like, yeah, Chatwood didn't give up home runs. You know why? The ball has to be near the plate for the batter to hit the ball. So
that's a good point. Yeah.
Come on. Tyone is fine. He is not good, but he's fine. When he goes out there, you get what you expect every fucking time. And if they played the game, if they managed this fucking game with that in mind, which it feels like they kind of are right now, then you'll win some of these games, even when he's out there pitching. But if you go out and fucking Nico Horner and Dansby Swanson, the best middle infield in all of baseball, screw up and it leads to 4 runs, and now you're expecting this guy who everybody hates, but you're expecting the guy who everybody thinks is so terrible to be able to handle it after those guys fuck up. You can't have both. He's either the worst pitcher ever, or you have to let him have some leeway when his defense screws him.
No, but it's every freaking game. There's something going on with that guy. I'm just saying. It's like, I'm not a fan. I don't want
the other day. 2 solo shots, terrible. The other one was a 2-run homer, but then he settled down. And honestly, they leave him in the game instead of fucking dumping him with 2 outs. I think there's a better chance that he gets out of that inning than I think it was Merriweather who came in. So again, then you're at 3 runs instead of the 5 that he ended up giving up because of a 2-out pitching change.
He's not good.
I'm not arguing that he's good. What I'm arguing is that he's not this fucking like garbage heap Chatwood type pitcher. He's not. He is a 5th starter, and as a 5th starter, he's fine.
Terry E points out that Tyone is undefeated on the 35th of the month.
Absolutely.
So am I.
Exactly.
No, look, but it's so funny because now everybody like loves to give me shit like, oh, you love Tyone. Like I literally just hate how everybody has turned this into Tyone is like literally Chatwood, when that's not the case at all. He is a not very good pitcher, but he's a consistent pitcher. And if you just deal with the consistencies that he gives you, you can win those games.
You just have to deal with the fact that he's consistently bad and you need to put up 15 runs when he starts.
But he's consistently bad to the tune of 4 or 5 runs every single time. Like, if you know that.
Sometimes 7 or 8 if it's the Phillies.
And it's Great American Ballpark. 5 runs in Great American Ballpark is 3 runs anywhere else.
You cannot spot the opposition 5+ runs and hope you're going to win.
I don't know.
Now you can just like believe that you're never going to win on Tyon Day. That's fine, but you cannot spot the opposition 5+ runs and think you're going to win.
I mean, that's basically what you're doing when he goes out there. You don't.
I know.
Like, I'm just saying that you can plan for it, because it is so fucking, like, it just happens every single time. You can plan for what he's about to do and put your best guys out there and try to win. You know, look, he's not a good pitcher, but he's not the worst pitcher out there. There are a lot worse pitchers, and he's fine. He's fine. He's literally just fine if you can deal with him being a 5th starter instead of wanting him to be the 3rd that he's never going to be.
Yeah, David Elliott points out that you're consistent. What you're on your take of Tyone and Smiley being consistently bad. I've got the perfect.
No, Smiley, I thought was terrible to start the season. He became great, and I had to fucking cover every goddamn one of his starts, his wins. And then I got on board, and as soon as I got on board Smiley, he fucking sucked again. Smiley drives me insane.
Well, I've got the perfect shirt to get you this Christmas. Check this one out. I just found this online. Jameson says, Jameson Tyone loving on Valentine's Day with a baseball bat. I don't know how this even exists, but it does.
Oh my God, that's AI listening to this conversation.
It is. So, hey, if you want to hear what's going on all week with the Cubs, listen to Cubs Pod. And in order to listen to Cubs Pod, you have to be a Patreon member. So go to patreon.com/sonranto and sign up, and you get the daily show brought to you every single day. And you don't want to miss it, because we're in a pennant race, people. Also, me and Sarah have a show called The Bleacher Bunch, and that's found on our RSS feed, which is Bleacher Bunch. Anywhere you listen to podcasts, you can listen to The Bleacher Bunch. Son Ranto show is put out through there too, but it is not early and ad-free as it is for our Patreon people. Announcements. Well, I'm still running that video contest, and this is going to be one of the prizes of the video contest. I'm going to show it down here. It's covered in, hold on. Here we go. It is a Justin Steele autographed photo. So all you got to do is make a video and tag me in it of any Bleacher Bum Band song. They're all on Facebook Reels. They're on the Instagram Reels. They're on the TikTok for the kids. And you just make a video, anything Cubs related or not, and you could win this Justin Steele and a song written for you for the event of your choice by me. A lot of birthdays right now. I got to point out that Stuart McVicker from Club 400, his birthday is on Thursday, and we're all going to be hanging out with Sean Dunston on Thursday. So that'll be fun out of Club 400. Cool. Yeah, I'm writing Sean Dunston a song right now. To Maneater.
Shauna-meter?
Yeah, Shauna-meter. I'm kind of thinking of abandoning it and doing something else, but that's all I thought of so far. And also Corey Finneran from Ivy Envy, his birthday is this week. Dallas from Australia, ranter from way back, international ranter. Janice Griffin just had a birthday, and Morgan Huang on the ranter calendar. I don't know Morgan, but it's her birthday. And also we're celebrating Dan Nielsen's birthday on September 20th. R.I.P. Dan. We miss you very much. And so we're going to go to the bleachers with your family and friends and hang out and toast you from the bleachers. So I'm going to drop a link right now in the chat to that event. All you got to do is buy yourself a bleacher ticket and come hang out with us in the bleachers. We'll have more information on that Facebook event, where we'll be and what we'll be doing beforehand and during the game. So why don't we give away the Patreon prize of the month right now? And I forgot to give the Amazon prize of the month. For those that shop at Amazon, let's put the Amazon to the next time.
Oh, that's the one I thought you were about to do. I always love the Amazon because I love seeing what people are buying.
Okay. All right. We'll do the Amazon one. We'll do them all. Let's give away some stuff tonight. Let's give away everything. All right. I'm going to share it's the number picker wheel. So how this works, everybody, is there were 55 items bought at sunranto.com/stuff through our link that are there on Amazon. So one of these numbers are going to win. And let's say number 33 wins. Well, the number 33 item that was purchased, that's the winner. And then you're going to win a really cute thermos that I will show you in a second, but it's just out of arm's reach. So here we go. Let's pick it. Let's spin the wheel. Let's see who's going to win from the people that shop at Amazon sunranto.com/stuff. It's number 38.
Number 38. What are we going to get here?
All right. So number 38 is...
I'm literally excited. Like, this is one of my favorite parts of the show.
Number 38 is the Go Tags stainless steel pet ID tags. So whoever bought your pet a stainless steel ID tags, you are the winner. Congratulations.
Somebody went on a massive like pet stuff buying spree. I was looking through all those things. Lots of pet stuff.
I'm going to show you what you won. Isn't this cute? Little thermos man.
Oh, look at that. You can fill that with like peanut butter and your dog will just chew it all up.
All day long. So now let's give away the Patreon prize of the month. This is the prize that goes to just one of our patrons. And thank you so much for all of you that subscribe to us. There are perks at every single level. If you are a Patreon subscriber and like what we do already, and you're like, you know what, I should give those guys more money. You know what? You should up your pledge. Why not?
Tell your friends that like how much joy you get over giving us $2.
Yeah. And trust me, we really need the money. I just sent Michael Cotton $50 today, tickets and beer. So here we go. I'm giving a spin. The winner is going to win a In the Clutch t-shirt. Shop it in the Clutch. The winner is Jane Finneran. Congratulations.
Oh, that is Corey's mother, is that not?
It's Corey's mom.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's freaking great.
Thank you, Jane.
Yeah, thanks, Jane. And now I'll be contacting you.
It's really nice to know that when Ivy Envy got off the, quit doing podcasts, she shifted her allegiances directly over to us.
We're the only game in town. So, anybody have any TFCs? I have 2 left over.
I have 1.
Okay, so I'll go first. This has to do with the Malort that we drank out of ashtrays at Binsky's Bar in Cincinnati. Mark Edwards Edelstein says that's even better than Skyline Chili.
Yeah. Oh. I would eat the Skyline Chili out of the ashtray as well.
I personally like Skyline. I think it's pretty good.
Okay. This is more of a meme or whatever popped up today after Justin Steele got, I believe it was his 11th strikeout, which was his high. I think he ended with 12, but he screamed. He looked out and screamed, and somebody put on there, "Mom made pizza rolls," as if he's getting very, very excited for pizza rolls.
Very nice. And then this last one is also a kind of a photograph. I saw this the other day when I was reading the news, woke up only to see that Sarah's favorite ball player from Cub teams past, Wilson Contreras, had homered twice with his parents in attendance. And I think his parents were probably pretty shocked to see that he looked exactly like Lars Nootbaar.
Is that Lars Nootbaar?
I have no idea. I don't even know who that is.
I don't think it's Lars Nootbaar.
Is that who is that?
I have no idea.
Not Lars Nootbaar. I don't know who that is.
Lars Nootbaar?
Not but I don't know. It looks like he might be wearing, I can't tell. 19, 13.
Certainly
something.
Isn't Wilson Contreras, but I love
Handlebar Schnookers. I don't know. They always
That's not Wilson Contreras.
No, we know that.
The one thing we do know is it is not Wilson Contreras. And I will say the only way I know that is because he's not wearing yellow Ronald McDonald gloves.
It's the new style. Hashtag chance in the chat. I forgot we're giving away yet one more thing, and that is
we're being told it is Tommy Edman.
Oh, good for him.
By Terry E, who coincidentally the E stands for Edmund.
So let's see. Oh, I gotta stop. Hold on. Wait, that's the wrong thing. I have to stop sharing to reshare. Okay, here we go. And we have where is the chance? The giveaway. Sorry. I got too many tabs open. Here we go. It's going. The winner is of the Frank Chance postcard sent to you by me with a message of love and doom is David Lieb. Congratulations. I said Tim DeHate almost won. Did you see that there?
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah. Tim DeHate, he came up and introduced himself to me in Cincinnati. Just like Danny Rocket. I was like, hey. And he's like, Tim DeHate. And I was like, Danny Rocket. And we stood there for about
and then you stood there awkwardly looking at each other like yeah, I'm on a
yeah, like, you're Tim DeHate. And I'm like, so you're Danny, huh? Yeah. I remember you from such places as the internet. So no, it's always nice to meet people that you only met on the internet. I'll say that.
I will say it is fun to meet people out in the real world, but there is always sort of that awkward right after you introduce yourselves, because then it's like, oh yeah, I know you from Twitter, or I know you from the Discord channel or something. But then you're like, oh, but I don't know you. This is odd. It's always there should be some sort of a TV show where they film internet friends meeting for the first time.
That's not a bad idea. So, or like make people that are fighting on the internet meet in person. Like you just find like people fighting on some Facebook meme and like get them together.
That's actually an even better idea, Danny. Like we need to pitch that. That's a good one.
Yeah. So there's the show, and we're gonna hang out on the Discord a little bit. Thanks, Sarah, for being here tonight. I know that you're a busy woman. And,
hold on, Sarah. How has the draft pop in here before we get out of here? How has the draft been going? How are you feeling about your team?
Pretty good. I was drafting third, and this is a no kicker league, but we have team defense, so I feel like I did all right. Wound up with, hold on.
How many Chicago Bears did you draft?
I think I did draft a couple of Chicago Bears, but it is definitely not the focus of my whole thing here.
That's probably
while you're looking, I got to point out, David Elliott points out to us that they do have a show about internet people meeting each other. It's called To Catch a Predator. Fair.
That's not wrong. So, I mean, I'm sure Chicago fans won't love this. My quarterback is Patrick Mahomes. I have Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, AJ Dillon. My defense is Dallas. I feel good about this team. This team's all right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got Patrick Mahomes right off top. I'm assuming that was your first pick.
No, my first pick was Christian McCaffrey. I think I took Mahomes in the third or fourth.
Oh, okay. So, you know what? My neighbor was telling me this, that like quarterbacks weren't the first pick, which kind of blew my mind because back in the day, it used to be running backs and then it went to quarterbacks. And I guess now it's wide receivers are the first pick.
Yeah, well, in a lot of leagues are like you get points per reception. So wide receivers wind up getting a ton of extra runs.
I need to get back into fantasy football and pick running backs and quarterbacks and just dominate everybody. That's what
zig when they zag, Michael. That's what I say. So, well, we'll be back next week with another show. I think it's on Sunday. There's one Monday one coming up, but I'll let everybody know. But thanks for being with us, and we'll see you over on the Discord. Spagog, y'all.
Thanks for being with us. Spagog!
Gabby Hartnett, Ernie Banks, Ryan Sandberg, Solly Drake, Sammy Sosa, Fergie Jenkins, Anthony Rizzo, Billy Williams, Andre Dawson, Jason Kendall, Davey Johnson, Rob Justrisny, Nick Martini, Carlos Soprano. Kerry Wood, Frank Chance, Charlie Root, Bill Hans, Mark Grace, Leon Durham, Ted Lilly, Sparky Adams, Johnny Evers, Bob Rush, Jody Davis, Guy Bush, Manny Trio, Eddie Stakey, Billy Herman, Hank White.
The Chicago fire has just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet.
Woody English, Johnny Kling, Lenny Randall, Jeno Tsang, Jimmy Ryan, Aaron Heilman, Bill Madlock, Mark Pryor, Jack Pfister, Lon Warnicki, Chris Bryant, Stan Hack, Cy Block, Lou Johnson, and Brock. Ron Say, Vic Keane, Dexter Fowler, Willie Green, Kevin Foster, Sheriff Blake, Ryan Dempster, Sammy Drake, Bill Lee, Rick Sutcliffe, Jimmy Slagle, Lee Smith, Ray Sanchez, Mike Perez, Aramis Ramirez.
Chicago fire has just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet.
Larry French, Derek Lee, Kenny Lofton, King Kelly, Mel Hall, Cleo James, Rick Russell, Junior Lake, Cap Benson, Hippo Vaughn, Gary Matthews, Gene Mock, John Lester, ML Cush, Harry Steinfeld, Glendon Rush. Kiki Kyler, Tom Burns, Greg Maddox, Pete Lecoq, Doug Glenville, Les Mann, Bobby Scales, and Scanlon, Hank Sauer, Cal Hendricks, Larry Jackson, Milt Pappas, Jake Fox, and Arietta, Phil Cavaretta.
The Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet.
Terrence Gore, Sam Full, Bruce Suter, Travis Wood, Jeff Reed, Bill Krieg, Larry Cox, and Schlafly, Sergio Alcantara, Steve Lake, Albert Almora, Dave Clark, King Cole, Marlon Bird, Ron Santo, Bob Buell, Steve Trout, John Baker, Three Finger Brown, Rick Monday, Cal McVeigh, Jeff Pico, Felix
The
PA.
Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet.
Ed Rulebach, Bill Dolan, El Tapine, Zimmerman, Ray Mack, Max Flack, Matt Stairs, Ian Happ, Andy Popko, Marvell Wynn, Mitch and Otto Williams, Scott Bolin and Sanderson, Bob O'Farrell, Rick Wilkins, Dansby Swanson, Silver Flint, Javi Baez, Danny French, Chad Godin, Peaches Graham, Ray Grimes, Dennis Lamb, Jimmy Sheckard, Bobby Bonds, Larry Boa, Jim Edmonds, Chris Morrell, Hiram Bithorn, Brian Lahair, Daryl Ward.
The Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. Then the Chicago fire would have burned the Cubs in 1871. The Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving. In the Chicago fire, Wrigley would have burnt up, but it wasn't built yet. In the Chicago fire had just kept on burning from the south to Irving.